Are you ready
Yeah, I'm ready.
to do this? Hey, let me tell y'all something, man. Everybody been sitting around wondering, man, everybody keeps saying they got that next Game of Thrones, man. They say they got that Game of Thrones killer, that Game of Thrones fill-in, man. I need my fix of that throne, man.
Wasn't Game of Thrones the Game of Thrones killer?
Yeah.
It killed itself.
Killed itself.
Join me, so we may finally unite as one against our true foe.
Martin, we finally got rid of those odd shirts in DTmerch.com. But there's a lot of shit here at DTmerch.com. People say, yeah, you need to get some more up in there. We're working on it. But still got the gift of choice for you. Okay. You know, people out there itching, scratching, man. I need that Thrones, man. I need that shit right now. And they say, somebody got to bring something now. Come on. Netflix said, you know what? I got something for you right here. Hold on. Let me move my box real quick. You're going to love this. Puppets.
The only Muppets that Disney doesn't own.
Look, I got a sword. Don't get no attitude right now. Don't start talking a bunch of shit because these are not just any puppets. These puppets belong to the continuing story of one of the most ambitious puppet projects out there. And this is why I'm talking about this today, because this is something that I loved as a kid. I treasured as a kid.
Me too.
And then generations after me fell in love with the Dark Crystal.
Where good and evil struggle to possess the Dark Crystal.
Now, contrary to what people believe, this came out the same year as E.T., 1982. Now, a lot of people thought that this was like a cult classic over the years. Turns out that this movie was actually the 16th highest grossing movie of that year. That's a tough thing when you're going against something like E.T.
Sure.
And when you're doing a project as different as this. This is something that people really had not seen on this level before. Now we have we have the Dark Crystal right there, and we have now a direct prequel, not a sequel, but direct prequel to the Dark Crystal called Age of Resistance. And just like the original, it remains in that sort of PG, I would even push it in and say PG-13 type area, which means, as I said before, you asking for it, it means no blood, no gore, no titties. Shit, we don't even have human beings in this, But what they can offer for you is the same kind of fantasy storytelling that you got not only with the original Dark Crystal, but also with Game of Thrones. Okay. And the cool thing about it is it's not based on any books, so you don't have to worry about them this up later when you don't have books that don't even exist for this to try to continue. Let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer for Age of Resistance.
Behold.
Shit!
Wait, that was a mistake.
That's that good shit right there.
No.
Herb.
No.
But don't touch.
And she on them shrooms right now.
Revealing your destiny.
Hey, listen, before I continue, I want to let everybody know that if you go to YouTube, we're about to upload this on doubletoasted.com, but if you like what you see with this review right here, go over to YouTube, our YouTube channel, Double Toasted, or sometime this week, check out doubletoasted.com, where you can see our interview with Lisa Henson, Jim Henson's daughter, who also served as the executive producer on this series here. If you've never seen the original Dark Crystal, or if you have, then a lot of you know. And for those who don't know, I'm going to catch up here, but for those who have seen it, you might remember this. This takes us back to the land of Thra. And over there you're hanging out with a bunch of creatures named Gelflings who they're in different tribes, different factions, but what they all have in common is that they follow the order of the Skeksis. The Skeksis are the ones that control the crystal, and the crystal is the one is sort of the life force of this planet of Thra that they're on. They figure, even though the Skeksis, they look evil as You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're like vultures that have been run over.
Yeah. I trust that guy. You know, the thing that's eating everything and just rude to us constantly.
Yeah,
That guy.
yeah. I mean, even though they look evil as shit, they all say, but you know something, they wouldn't hurt us. They're all working for us, right? Everything is cool. And little do they know that, well, their little dumbasses are just blind as to what the true nature of what the Skeksis really are. The Skeksis have come up with a plan to try, a very dark and twisted plan to try and make themselves immortal that comes with the very dire cost of others in this world. You know, I can, as much as, and I was looking forward to this, I don't know how you felt about the beginning of it, but I think that the story here starts really slow.
Yes.
You know, characters are not that captivating, man. Their personalities are nothing that really drag me in. They're just heroes and, you know, things to keep the story going. Story feels like like any kind of fantasy story that you have out there. You know that you're in another world with magic. There's going to be a great quest ahead of our heroes here.
Very stark lines between good and evil.
Very, very, very stark lines.
Lots
between,
of mythology.
Yep, lots of lore.
It's
mythology.
very exposition heavy in the first several episodes.
Yeah, but you know something? But what they do is, because at some point, anything else, I would probably be like, well, you know, I've seen it before. I'm going to cut this shit off. I can find something else to watch or do something with my life. But watching this, they immediately suck you into this world. It is amazing to look at. It's really, and like the first Dark Crystal, there is nothing like this you've seen before. I can honestly say that.
No, aesthetically, I think so. Like what appealed to me with the original Dark Crystal was just how dark it was. I mean, so often, like when you think of puppets or Muppets, you think Sesame Street or you know, the classic Muppet movies and things like that. Like this one's like, no, there are consequences. You see characters die, and sometimes in those horrific ways, and like there's consequences to this world. Not everything's like a joke or just there for a laugh. And despite it being exposition heavy in the beginning, they do set up the world really well. It's very much like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's the thing with the original Dark Crystal. Yeah, it's a lot of kids going to see a movie about these really grotesque looking creatures, as you say, just committing genocide and destroying the world and not giving a fuck about it.
Oh no,
You know?
they're assholes about it. At first they're like, you know what? Let's try to manipulate our ways into this. Like, give us some of these guys and we'll suck their life force out and everything. But afterwards, like, you know what? Fuck it. we're just going to exterminate you.
You know why? Because they're like, I'm on that shit now.
Yeah, they are. They're addicted to it.
Yeah.
So they're like the GOP.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, you say that, and I got something prepared to talk about with that. They're not even trying to hide that these are puppets.
Yeah,
You know,
I saw they didn't put a whole lot of work into the lip.
Well,
movements.
man, that you could see that hand working that mouth, and that mouth they making no O's
No,
or
no,
consonants.
not exact,
That mouth
right.
got two movements up and down. Yeah. And and like they got that puppet walk.
Oh, dude, you see that constantly, that puppet walk. So many shots.
I don't know how your legs move when you just
Little taps.
Yeah, but they-
Different types of taps.
Yeah, they got like they're kind of like watching Sesame Street. They got that little bob going on, you know. Some of them don't even blink. But
Oh, come on.
but you know what the thing is, and this is not me making an excuse for it. The show is aware of that.
Yeah.
They're telling this story through puppets. It's an artistic choice that they are making.
Okay.
It's a conscious artistic choice that they are making. You can tell that they are real. You know, that what is latex or whatever, sure, but it's tangible. You can see that it's real, something that looks truly organic. So that already has sort of an otherworldly look to it.
Yeah.
And then to have them in this world of theirs, you know, it's a world that feels inhabited because it has its own nature, it has its own architecture, it has its own customs, their own mechanics. You know, the way they use creatures as tools. You know, it definitely does feel like, even though they're puppets, credit to the series for making this feel like a completely tangible and real world.
I will say that, yes, for the most part, a lot of it is on sets, puppetry and everything, but there's a lot of CGI in the show. And I know they haven't been marketing it that way, but there is a ton of it. And even with some of the Gelflings, as we see them, and the Skeksis, like they're tons of CGI shots with them, and also them moving around in CGI, which at first kind of took me out of it because I wasn't expecting that. Especially after watching the original film. But after a while, because you're just acclimated to this world for at least 10 hours plus, it's like you get used to it.
Like they absolutely don't do it until they have to.
Mm-hmm.
And there's creatures in there that they just, I'm sure they tried to build a pup and they just said, that looks stupid. You know, so,
we can't have this thing hopping around like that. It's not going to look good.
Like creatures made of stone, or when they have to pull out
Golems
their wings or something like that. Yeah, you know, or when they have to, you know, when they have to show them full bodied, and they have to, you know, and they have to move. You know, like you saw a full body shot of one of the Gelflings running right there.
This
you
is
know,
CGI.
Yeah, and that's, you know, there's a lot of scenes like that where you see CGI, which it absolutely has to be. I mean, look, they're not. They never claim to, like, you know, we are totally against CGI. We just want to make, you know, we use it sparingly so that we're not using it as a crutch.
Yeah.
It's an interesting approach to what you have telling this kind of story, because what you do have a mix of, so it's a weird mix of Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, and this thing right here that you'd appreciate, Martin.
Thunderbirds are go.
And this is the puppets are the main thing that remind me of that, because they're not trying to cover it up.
Yeah, no, those scenes you showed with them talking back and forth, that's what I kept thinking of. I was like, oh, it's like the Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
Captain Scarlet and all
it's like, it's
those
just
Gary Anderson productions.
Yeah, like Thunderbirds there. It's a more advanced version of something like that. I mean, because it reminded me so much of that, like the Gelflings are little hands. Poor little hands have arthritis. They don't have a bend.
Very stiff.
You know, whenever they're picking up something, they just bless their heart. They
just trying to show affection. It's just like,
they sort of try to pick up a box and fingers weren't moving at all. It really does add for a very unique look. Approach to this, man. It didn't at first. It bothered me a little bit, but after a while, the storytelling got to, you know, as far as you say, the aesthetic in the world, it pulled me in enough to where I wasn't looking at that anymore.
No, me too. No, I agree. It's interesting because the aesthetic was what initially bothered me about the trailers. How in the original movie had that film grain, which kind of did a better job of masking the fact that this is all puppets.
Yeah.
You know, and like a lot of just on sets, like with that extra film grain, that helped. This doesn't have that. This is shot on digital.
Yeah,
obviously.
if you see, this is the original Dark Crystal with the film grain on it. You know, and it really did, like, if you see some of the creatures when they move, like
made it look more real.
Like this character right here, you know, and when you see
Jen.
her when you see her moving, damn boy, pick up the pace, move.
Man,
when you see her walking, you know, that looks it looks very, very, very real. What are you gonna say?
I saw the Dark Crystal so long ago, like when it first came out in the theater, and never since. So when you're showing clips of it, it looks almost completely unfamiliar to me.
When it starts out, and I said it started out kind of like a regular adventure story. That's kind of what it was, man. They were at the beginning of it. The dialogue was like, "Hey, let's go on an adventure. Hey, we're gonna do this crazy thing. Aren't we adventurous?" You know, it was really, man. It was really cute. I'm serious. It's like it wasn't just fun. It was cute. These little adorable elves going about, you know, being little scamps and doing things that they weren't supposed, going into mischievous adventures, doing things together.
Beat those big old bad Skeksis.
Yeah, you know, and you know, and this is the first episode.
Yeah.
And I would say a little before halfway through.
The first episode?
But a little before halfway through, the episode is just it's stringing you along. It's like, look at that. That's cute, ain't it? Right? Got it. They do something up in this, and
Foul.
Man. I mean, really? Because I'm looking at this like I would like a kid would watch it, and they turn around, they do something that is completely up. Took me. It kicks off a whole messed up story from that halfway point in the first episode,
Okay.
and then it's like, oh shit, you getting into that Game of Thrones shit now.
Okay, all right.
It's like let me just say, it's like it's not as bad. But you remember the first episode when they threw Bronn off that
Yeah.
off that ledge?
Yeah.
they do something like that because you do not expect that to happen.
Okay.
What they do is they just turn around and they do really messed up things with the story that kind of pull you in. And for something that's presented with no human beings and it's puppets, and you don't expect, man, because you're ready to kind of write this off because it is puppets.
Yeah.
And the cute puppets doing little puppet walks.
Yeah.
And you know when they do that, it's just like, holy shit, y'all are assholes.
I would say I would not like show this to like a kid. Like anyone under the like at 10 or under the age of 10, I don't think this is for them because it does get violent. This is the most puppet on puppet violence that I've seen probably since Meet the Feebles. And okay, especially in that scene when of course you got Mark Hamill as the Joker just stabbing the characters, a character that when you're initially introduced to, very charming. Instantly likable, and they establish a relationship. Despite that first episode being so exposition heavy, that relationship that feels real. You get their dynamic that there's history between these two characters, and like now we're just gonna snatch her away, and it's gonna be from all these weird bird-looking monsters.
And that's the thing
Oh,
about
God.
it. Yeah, they make you, they get you thinking that these are
The heroes.
heroes, and you're watching something. You're watching a cute adventure with these characters that are they're very fluffy in the beginning.
Yeah.
And and it's funny because it's because these creatures, they don't give a shit. Because while we're sitting up here like, man, they're so cute. They're so lovable. They really are. There's not
we
much
though?
character with them, but but they're so cute and lovable. And these bird people like, I'm gonna drink this bitch. They like, we like her too.
I want you to watch it too.
Yeah, she tastes amazing. And that's when character development really kicks in.
Yep.
Okay.
For everything, because and it really messes with you if you're a fan of the original. Because if you're a fan of the original, what they did in the original is that you're watching this story that is about these creatures known as Gelflings, which I just told you about. And the Gelflings are you meet two of them. They're the last of their kind. They've been wiped out by the evil Skeksis. And the whole time that you've been, all these years, at least for me, all these years, I've been thinking like, oh, well, the Gelflings were this noble race of creatures that were just persecuted and preyed upon by these evil bird people. And when you watch this series, it's like, no, they were assholes too.
Oh, okay.
No, man, they're kind of shitty sometimes because when you watch them, they're like, not all of them, but they're just like people.
Yeah.
It's like they're stuck up, kind of racist.
Kind of racist. They are racist.
They
They have names. They have
Slurs.
slang slurs with them.
They
yeah.
have N-words
Yeah, they
for
do.
Gelflings, man.
Dang.
A lot of them are pieces of shit, man, and they're kind of stupid in a way. It's like the Skeksis. You said it's like the Skeksis are the GOP, like they are Trump, and the Gelflings are the dumbasses that follow them.
Because they love the Skeksis.
and they say all the time. They, when people are saying, because some people come on, it's like, man, these motherfuckers are using us. You haven't seen what I've seen. Now, why would they do that? They protect us. They give us life. They give us everything we need. And you just look at this and it's just
They're
like,
bringing back coal jobs.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the whole time they're just sucking their asses dry. It's it adds some very interesting twists to what's going on here. It's the cast in this
Impressive.
some there's a lot of really good performances here. And what's impressive about the cast is that a lot of these people, you don't know that they're doing these performances.
I mean, except for one guy.
Well, Taron Egerton is like, goddamn, why does that elf sound like Elton John? You can tell who some of these people are.
Yes.
Like maybe you can tell Sigourney Weaver is one of the narrators here. But some other people like Simon Pegg as the Chamberlain.
No idea
He
it was
does a
him.
great job. He sounds like the original person that did the Chamberlain. The Chamberlain's a character from the original movie. Aquafina as a collector, who's just a disgusting ass character, man.
Yeah. Pustules on her nose and things. She's diseased and infected with something.
Yeah, I couldn't tell that was her.
Neither did I.
Some of these, they have some people here like Keegan Michael Key, the Ritual Master. I didn't know that was him. And so you got some Game of Thrones people in here like Lena Headey and Natalie Dormer is in here. So it's they even borrow people from Game of Thrones to be in this.
Oh, yeah.
Shit. We just trying to remake Game of Thrones with puppets now.
All the dead ones.
Yeah, it's very ambitious storytelling. What they do here, And that's why you have the Game of Thrones comparisons going on with this, because of all the twists and turns that you get with this. And because there's a lot of things you can see very similar with Game of Thrones that happen here. Like there are deaths that you don't see coming at all. Characters are very cruel to each other, just completely shitty to each other. And there's always one asshole that you just despise, man. They got one bitch in here. I know. I said, some of y'all are cool. I don't like some of y'all, but you are the one. I hope they tear your ass apart.
You deserve everything you get.
They got an old Joffrey elf up in here, man. He's like, just not as cruel, but just dumb.
Ignorant. Just ignorant to what's actually happening around
and
them.
not helping.
No.
Making things worse.
Yes.
This is not for kids. I don't care. They got a PG up here for this. This is more of a PG-13. Look, it's not an R, anything like.
No, it's PG-13. But there is violence. I mean, you haven't seen some of the episodes, but there's blood in this, and it's kind of like done in shadow, but you know exactly what's happening.
I saw somebody get it to the gut, and they just lined up.
Something even worse after that.
Really?
Yeah, something even worse.
Oh,
I was like, okay, this is kind of shocking that you're doing like using a blunt instrument on somebody and just getting sprayed with blood.
Damn.
Yeah, or green blood, but you know what it is.
But it's still, man. That's still rough.
And someone just cackling, enjoying it. Just loving doing it.
Man, they
do it.
Really, man. You know how Game of Thrones was full of a world of assholes?
Yeah.
That's what this is, man.
Okay.
Like, no, that whole cute thing you saw at the beginning, nah, man. Everybody, there's some characters in there that are just almost non-characters, and those are the ones that are the least interesting.
The background people.
Yeah, exactly. Just there to push a story along. But there are a lot of people here where it's like, nah, this is not a nice place to be.
Even the environment itself is cruel and just vicious. Like, different types of animals and creatures, like they just want to eat you. And you'll see it. And it does not look good. And it looked horrifically painful.
They show one thing where they set it up where it was they showed like some creatures that will
foreshadowing.
Yeah, they show some creatures that they look horrible. If they like, it's a horrible way to die. And I thought, well, they're just gonna leave that to the imagination. They're like, nah, you gotta see this.
Screaming.
Yeah, it's like, what the is this, man? Mm-hmm. Even the creatures. I mean, they use the animals, poor animals are just slaves. They get just like they got these animals that form these huge spheres, and they just snatch their ass up and just made wheels out of them.
Mm-hmm. Torture them, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll tell you, they use these animals as tools, man. It's a really up place, man. This is
it's a living.
Yeah.
It is. Oh my God, it's like the Flintstones. You're absolutely right.
It's like if you combine the Flintstones with 12 Years a Slave, man. This does not look cool at all, man. I couldn't eat. I lost my appetite. I'm not even bullshitting you. My wife made she made dinner for me right before I got here, and halfway through I was just like, I can't eat this, because after what, there's so much snot in this, and so much snot and pus. Mm-hmm. There's a scene here, and this is the scene that made me just lose it, man. There's a scene here where all these Skeksis, just nasty. It's enough to just be up there slobbering and salivating, and it's moist all over the place. But they got one. She just mixes her pus and slime with her food. It's like an appetizer, and she just eat. And I'm just like, this.
Just to give it flavor.
Yeah, they got
a little bit of me in there.
Shit. She used her slot as salad dressing. Just made me mad. Just like, just have some home training, man.
But the thing about it is, I love watching them. Every time they're on screen, I'm just fascinated by them.
I was just disgusted. Some home training. But the other thing is, like, we're telling you all this dark stuff that happens there, all this death and nastiness and bodily fluids and pissing all over the place, but sometimes it really does play out like a kid's show. Andy Samberg is the heretic in here, and when he comes on, I mean, it's played straight up like a cartoon.
Welcome to the circle of the suns.
Okay, calm your ass down, man. All right. I mean, and it gets sillier from there.
In a world that's so exaggerated, he's too exaggerated for it.
He is, man. I mean, to the point where they like him and another character that come in, they do a comedy show together, and it's It took me out of it. It's one of my least favorite episodes that I've seen so far.
And it's too bad because there's like a really important plot point that revolves around them. That kind of like, wow, it's just that's kind of huge for people who have not seen the original Dark Crystal. It's like, oh my god, this is a huge revelation, and they're just goofing off.
Yeah, it's being goofy. Yeah, it's a comedy show.
Mm-hmm,
It turns to Adventure Time or something, man. Yeah. And as far as the puppetry goes, man, it does. It's great. It's beautiful. Like I said, it's a stylistic choice, and the stuff that they do with the puppets in here, the whole production, man, of this, from the set decorations to the costumes, and some of these puppets are very advanced.
Yeah.
Wow.
But the only thing is that some of these, like the artistic direction here, amazing. Almost stupefying how, when you look at it, just how much you get tired almost looking at it, like, wow, so much work went into this.
Yeah.
But some of these puppets are very advanced, man. They put it because they'll sit up there, and you can see all the things that are being manipulated inside them, and then they get a puppet where they just ran out of money with it. Because
It's just a sock.
It's just
with 2 buttons on my eyes.
googly eyes and shit. Man, googly eyes would have been great because they got look. This is bad when they got 2 characters. And one of them is very expressive. One of them, the ears are going back. Yeah. Their eyes are blinking. Mm-hmm. They're nodding. And then they got one that comes on, and they couldn't afford eyelids. And they just and it's just it looks like the most intense conversation. He's trying to talk, and they can't fixate his eyes on anything. And meanwhile, the other characters are like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Sorry, I just had one of my puppet Botox treatments.
Yeah. Shit, Botox, like they on speed or something. I will take you to the realms. Like, nah, that's all right, man. I'll catch an Uber.
I will say it's like I will say I think like they do a good job with most of the main cast, like the Skeksis and the main cast, the Gelflings and Ogra. But it's a lot of just the kind of the tertiary supporting characters that after a while, one, they're not doing that much interesting things with them, but they all start to look alike. And I don't mean to be that guy, but it's kind of hard to tell Gelflings apart sometimes.
No,
okay, you know what I'm talking about.
No, and see, before I said Tilda Swinton, he got mad at me because I said he said, man, that's wrong. You're like they're a real race of creatures. You're like, man, that's racist because I said they all look like Kate Blanchett. Yeah. And you're like, oh man, that ain't right. Nah, you wouldn't like if somebody said that to black people. I said, well, it wouldn't make any sense. First of all, as a 10-episode show, it's an amazing achievement. It really is. I mean, I thought they were going to try to do a movie because I thought a movie would be something that would be a little more feasible because this is it looks like a very tough project to do, much less, like making an hour-and-a-half movie, making a 10-hour show.
No, sure. Especially because, despite the film being a success of its time, it's still a cult movie.
It's still
like trying to release this in the theaters. I couldn't see them doing this, but on a streaming service, definitely. And you have more time to kind of explore the world. I think that was smart.
Yeah, that's why when I tell, I look at people when they say, "Oh, well, we got that Disney Plus coming out, and I'm about to drop Netflix." It's like, it's always a new thing. It makes you the new thing that comes out, and it makes you look down on the old thing, and it's like. Well, I understand that people can't keep paying for all these individual streaming services. I said that would happen. I said, they're talking about cutting the cord to save money. Well, you're going to end up spending more money when you're buying like 25 different streaming services out there. But if Netflix or whoever is out there doing this kind of entertainment, because you will not see this in the theater, man.
No,
and you don't want to see an hour-and-a-half version of this. You want this to tell a complicated story.
No, exactly. I want to spend time with these characters in this world, and thankfully through that 10+ hours or however long it is, that you really get immersed in it.
Yeah, I think that this would have made Jim Henson very proud, and he would have been very happy. And it would probably brought him to tears to see something that people took for granted back in the day. Be taken to the level of production and storytelling it is right now. I just wish he could be around to see that.
Even the studio, they balked at this. They didn't want to make this movie. How serious you're being with it. And,
executives, I couldn't even find it again, but I saw a documentary somewhere where he was just they saw the Dark Crystal at an executives meeting, and all of them just got up and walked out and just left his ass in the room by himself.
Watching the rest of the movie?
No. They at the end of it, they just walked out and no one said anything. He just left him sitting there.
Oh,
And he was just like, shit. You know, I mean, you're not gonna say bye or hey, Jim, you want to come get coffee or something? It's just like, nah. They just left. It's almost like you sit here, you think about what you just did.
Right.
You know, I'm giving this, I guess, a low full price because and that's coming from somebody who's very partial to this. But I'm giving it the low full price because, like I said, production wise, and even with some characters, I thought that's where it was lacking. When you know your main characters are not. It's the backstabbers and the assholes that you like. Your main characters are the ones who you're supposed to be your Bilbo Baggins or your Frodos or whatnot.
Yeah.
You know, we don't really have that here, man. You know,
okay.
we don't have any Starks to root for right here. The main characters are kind of flat.
No, I would probably give it a full price. Like they immersed me in this world very quickly, despite it being very exposition heavy. But no, I loved it. I'm glad this is happening, so I'm gonna stick with my full price.
Yeah, I mean, you acting like I'm challenging you, man.
Yeah. No.
Ain't nobody fighting you.
What, a low full price? Yeah. You serious right now?
Yeah, I'm gonna start fighting.
Yeah,
Like
I think we're gonna do it.
Throw my snot on you.
I'll just manipulate Martin to betray you, and I'll just be here.
Why do you do a show with that asshole? Did you hear what Cordy said to you? No.
That's another thing. A lot of villainous cackling in here.
Yeah, man.
Characters. You know, sometimes it's cool and sometimes.
I mean, but that's part of who they are.
like there's points where it's like they. Okay, that is one of my tropes right there that I hate.
What, villains cackle?
When they do that same cadence of cackle, that rhythm of cackle that we always see. To pan out. You know, that is.
That's how they transition to the next scene.
Yeah, they always a lot of cackling transitions.
Sure, but to be fair, that's how they were in the original film, and to have them not be that, I think wouldn't be true to who they really are. I mean, they are very much villains. They're not very sympacific, except for the one
See,
guy.
you like the Gelflings, man. You just sticking up for them no matter what.
I'm sorry, I'm a Skeksis lover. I can't help it. You know what?
They were good to us.
They were.
riding those 3 Skeksis dicks, man. Support us over there. And remember, if nothing else, stay toasty.